Accu-Stats Video Productions presents from Cleveland, Ohio, the 1993 Snapple Invitational All-Around Challenge number 2. I'm Bill Incardona, along with Frank Zummo. Frank, you're the promoter of this tournament. This is the second time you've had this event. The defending champion, Mike Zuglan, is back once again to defend his title, and he's doing a fine job.
Losing a match that he seemingly had locked up against Jimmy Fusco the other evening. He was 100 balls ahead of Fusco, and Jimmy came back to win it. But since then, Grady's been playing real good. He immediately followed that match with a 99-ball run, and he's starting to play pretty good.
Well, Mike Zuglan is a player that's not going to be easy to beat. I think he's won now 9 straight matches.
In fact, the only player to beat Mike in this tournament was Lou Butera. He handed him a big loss, I believe, on the opening evening. Mike is just sailing through as he did 5 months ago. And we talked about Mike in other matches, Billy, where he's not what you call the household name, but Mike Zuglan can play straight for anyone.
Well, he certainly can. And this is another indication that those of us who know Mike Zuglan really know him well, because he's going right through this field. And if he can defeat this field here with names like Butera, Fusco, Matthews, Mizrak, and a couple of local strong players, with J.R. Gay and Rich Kleski, that he shouldn't fear anyone playing straight, but which he doesn't.
No, Mike's has put some of his best runs together against the top opponents. In the 1985 World Tournament in Philadelphia, he had the tournament high run of 133 against Mike Siegel, and lost the match on top of it. But Mike runs balls. Last summer in the U.S. Open in New York, he had a 148-ball run. And as we've talked about also, the good players seemingly jump out real fast, get fast starts, and keep their opponents always at the disadvantage. And Mike is trying to do that now. He knows that Grady is not the caliber of player that you want to give many opportunities at the table.
Yes, he understands that, but he seems to be struggling here in the early going. Can't seem to find the speed right of the table. This is his first match on this table today, and he's having a little bit of a problem trying to figure out the speed of the table. Twice now he's tried to end up with an angle off either the 9 or the 13 to break the balls, and now it's twice that he hasn't been able to come up with it.
Well, he wanted an angle for the 9-ball and didn't get it, but he's played good shape on the 13 behind the rack here, so he'll be able to break the balls real well with this ball. And evidently, Billy, that ball was not open because he did catch the kiss and missed the 13 ball. So Grady has an excellent opportunity early in this match to do just what we thought Mike might be able to do, and that is open up some distance.
But even after Mike missed the ball, he really didn't suffer much of a consequence, because if you notice, Grady really doesn't have a shot. So in that respect, Zuglan should consider himself fortunate not to have given up, at least from the way I look at it, any type of an offensive shot.
Grady is looking, if you look at the 14-13 combination exactly, and from here, I mean, of course, we had the wrong angle, but it didn't look like that ball was dead, and Grady made a feeble attempt at that shot, and he has a very disgruntled look on his face right now. He's left Mike wide open. And also, we've talked about that when you play a player the caliber of Mike Zuglan, you want to make an offensive showing. You have to put runs together. You're not going to beat Mike Zuglan with 30-ball runs.
I did mention that there are 2 local players here from Cleveland participating in the event. J.R. Gay with a, really surprising record as far as I'm concerned, but not so much. It's not surprising to Frank Zummo. Frank Zummo realized that J.R. Gay is a quality player from the Cleveland area, and the other man that's a fill-in for Alan Hopkins. Richard Lesky is another quality player from the Cleveland area. He also owns a billiard room in Chagrin Valley. It's called Chagrin Valley Billiards. I've played in this room several times. It's a very nice room, and if you're in the area, just drop in on Rich Lesky. It's a very nice room in Chagrin Valley. In the meantime, his record stands at 4-7. He's lost his last 5 matches, but his record at one time stood at 4-2. Getting back to their feature match, Grady Matthews is racking up the balls as he trails in his match 4-10 against Zuglan.
Well, Mike has a nice 12-ball break shot here. He's on. He has a nice little angle, good cut shot. He'll go right into the rack, and Mike hits his break shots with authority.
I misquoted the score. It's 14 Zuglan, nothing for Matthews.
Mike missed a break shot. So it's another a mistake that shouldn't have been made at this point in the match. He did talk about JR, Billy. I'd like to let the people know. Last month, JR won the U.S. Open qualifier in Toledo, and he will be playing next month. In fact, it's now October. He will be playing October in New York City in the U.S. Open tournament, the Ramada Inn. So JR is no stranger to the players, and he's a very excellent player, having beat Steve Mizrak on our opening evening.
And actually, JR's presence in this tournament will only aid him in his performances at the Open, because therefore it's like a tune-up for him in a sense.
That's exactly right. They're 2 weeks apart, and he'll definitely be primed. And one good thing about that is he'll go into that event, and if he draws one of these players up there, he's going to be more relaxed. He won't be in awe of a Mizrak or a Grady or Zuglan as he might have been otherwise.
Certainly will diminish the intimidation factor quite some.
And as you know yourself from playing for many years, the more you play these type of players, the more you forget about them and play your game and play the balls.
That's exactly right. Years ago, I'll bring up a point that you just brought up. I'll elaborate on it. Years ago, there weren't as many tournaments as there are today. So therefore, when a top player like a Balsas or a Crane or a Lassiter face one of the lesser players, they just dominate it. It's not so today, because the familiarity is so much. They're more familiar with one another today, and the parity out there is much more even.
Right. I mean, a lot of these players now, they've played in this tournament twice, and they know JR and they know his capabilities, and now if they were to draw him up in New York, they're not going to look at this player and wonder who this guy is, and they will not take him light.
Okay, Grady seems to be working his way through this rack quite nicely, and if we can get an on-top view, we'll see if the 8-ball would be one of the balls he may use for the break ball, which it appears that it's a little high, but it's workable.
Well, being a right-hand player, he'd prefer that ball on that side of the rack, and he has a perfect 4-ball to use it as his key ball, so I believe that's the ball he'll go with. He just needs to get that 2-ball out of the way pretty soon, and that'll open up the pocket and everything for the 4, and he has not a difficult ball, but it's 12 balls down the top of the table, and he has to get that one out of the way.
He's fallen a little short of the mark, shooting the 12. He's going to have to shoot the 11.
This would be the best time, I would think, to get that 2-ball out of the way, and he has played position on it. Grady, you mentioned about Grady being the straight pool player, and right away when everyone thinks of Grady Matthews, they think of his one-pocket prowess, but Grady plays all the games. We know he doesn't like 9-ball, but he can also play 9-ball. But he's an excellent straight pool player. I ran the first tournament I ever ran was in 1985, and we had a 13-man straight pool tournament, and Grady was there, and Danny DiLiberto, Irving Crane, Alan Hopkins, and Grady beat Hopkins to win the title, so he's no stranger to straight pool.
A little further from his work than what he wanted to get, but I think nevertheless he's able to handle things.
He does have the perfect angle on the 4. He'll just hold this ball up, and he right off the lip and fell in the hole. He's left himself a perfect angle for the 8-ball. He's now tied the match at 14. Do you foresee a blowout in this match? or do you look at the nip and tuck all the way?
No, I'm looking for a pretty good match. Particularly if Grady's able to get through the early stages of it. I look for it to be a close match. He's hit a few shots rather roughly, but fortunately for him, the last one went in, and he's at the table with a nice break shot.
Well, he just smashed right through these balls, which he did, and did it well, and he left himself nothing simple. He has.
He may have the 2 ball. I don't know if the 2 will go. And if the 2 doesn't go, I don't know if he has a shot.
Well, he has a severe cut on the 11 ball down here by the back rail, but he's not looking at that. He's looking at the 12, I believe. No, he's played the 7 ball, and with all the congestion down here, we couldn't see it real well, but he had a clear path, and he made it.
And not much room to work with, though, because he breathed a sigh of relief after the 7 fell in, saying, well, I'm glad that's over.
Well, now he has a 1 ball up there on top of the table by the past the side pocket. He would like to get that out of the way early, I believe, and he could do it right here if he would choose to off the 3 ball.
It'd be a good time to go get that 1 while the 10's in front of the lower corner pocket, realizing that he doesn't have to do much with the cue ball. Just pocket the 1. Now, he's got himself a little out of line on the 1. I don't know if I would shoot the 1 from this position.
Well, he did. He rolled way farther than he'd like, but he's pocketed the 1 with no problem. He has a little cluster here in the middle, 15 and 14. They're bunched up, but he has enough balls around them to break those. He'd like to get this 5 ball off the rail, on the left rail over here, out of the way too. That's a frozen ball, and you always want to get them out of the way early if you can. He's yet to leave himself the perfect break shot. I believe he's going to have to manufacture something here. He's being very deliberate with this rack. He realizes that he has to make the best of every opportunity against Zuglan.
Well, there's a lot of work in front of him in this rack, Frank. He doesn't have at least it doesn't appear that he has a break ball as of yet, and he still has to do something with the 3-4 balls that are in the triangle area. So therefore, he has a lot to be concerned with in this particular rack.
If he were to use the 10 ball right here to get on the 2, I believe that would be the shot to break him, which is exactly what he's played for right here. He just needs to roll up and nudge out those 3 balls, and I believe he'll knock a break shot out with it. Which is exactly what he did. He knocked the 15 out. Of course, the 15 looks close, but I believe from here it's open.
Yeah, it looks like it's not on the line where the triangle will be to rack the balls.
He still has that difficult 5 ball that I mentioned, but he could get that right out now with the 12. And then that should open up the path for everything else, and he'll be on his way.
Yeah, I like for him to play position on the 5 next, and he wants to get fairly straight in so he could draw straight back for the 14. Now, and he bypassed his mark for the 14, and shooting the 5 now becomes a little dangerous because he can't really do much with the cue ball off of the 5. So he has to be very, very careful if he shoots the 5 to come up with a shot. He'd like to get a shot on the 14 if he could.
Well, he couldn't hold that ball, so he decided to follow up, and he has a choice of either going with the 6 ball up in the corner or 13. He still has to get that 14 out of there.
Yeah, the 14 is a problem ball, and he desperately needs to get a good angle on the 14, not to disturb the 15 after pocketing the 14.
And he is shooting the 6 in the corner, and he played an excellent shot. He drew back to the back rail, and that'll take care of the problem with the 14. Uses 13 as a key ball.
Well, he'll want to draw back slightly, playing position for the 13 in the side, like so, and all he need to do is pocket the 13. He may have come back a little too far, Frank. He might not like his position here.
He does have a choice to go in the corner, and it's exactly what he's doing right now. He'll go 1 rail off of this side rail here. And he's made a decent shot. He didn't come up enough on this 15 that he would like.
He would have preferred a little more of a severe angle on the 15 than what he ended up with, but nevertheless, he still has a break shot. And he's going to have to put a little more stroke into this particular break shot, possibly drawing it back off the front ball maybe.
And you know, usually when you do shoot a little harder like than you want, you're going to lose some of your accuracy. He leads in the match now 28-14. See if he decides to really slam the shot or not.
Yeah, this is an awkward break shot. He has to be careful not to go back to the back cushion here. And that's why he didn't use draw on the ball, but he was able to get a shot on the 8-ball.
He got a nice roll there, because if the 8-ball didn't come out, he didn't have anything else to shoot at. But with the 8-ball being there, he's open to go into the next rack again.
By using a center ball, using that type of a technique with the center ball, he was able to open up the balls better that way, but he risked the chance of losing the cue ball or getting stuck in the side of the rack by using a center ball. The 8-ball came out to save him in that respect, so therefore he does have a good shot on the 8-ball. The balls are opened, and he's well on his way again.
He'll follow up here for the 7, and he'll just roll down. He has a 5-ball down here by the back rail, and might be able to roll down for it, but that. Well, he's looking. Grady, as I said, is a very deliberate player and wants to be sure of himself. And he did go down here for the 5-ball. Wasn't sure if the 6 was blocking his path or not, but evidently it's not. He has a wide open 6-ball here, and I don't know what ball he'll use to try to break the rack. The 9-ball seems to be open underneath here, and if it is, that would be the ball he'll use.
He may use the 9 now to break the balls with, because it looks like he may have a decent shot on the 9, but perhaps he doesn't, or angle doesn't necessarily tell the truth at all times. So therefore, he may not have the angle that he needs to break the balls with off of the 9. If not, I look for him to shoot the 3.
If he does break the 9, he would have the he's going to play the 3, but he has a 12 over there for the insurance ball, which he's going to shoot the 12 now.
And now he's starting to work himself into a little bit of a jam here, because he's got a tough shot on the 12 in the regard that after pocketing the 12, I don't really foresee much of a shot other than if he shoots the 10 ball that's near the foot spot. He wants to go around the 1, and he wants to come up with some shot on the 10, which is around the foot spot. Now he's positioning the cue ball, I guess.
Well, he's gone 3 rails. I don't know. I don't see what he was playing shape on right there. 10 ball is open, okay.
I think the 10 ball will go, and he would like to loosen up a couple more balls after pocketing the 10.
He just played a real nice shot. The cue ball kind of jumped into the pack, and he's broken him up real nice. And
he may even have the angle to float the 15 in and run into the 4 with the cue ball, possibly.
He
right?
either try to improve that, or maybe draw into the. No, he's satisfied, I guess, with the 14 being where it is.
Exactly. I didn't realize that the 14 was a potential ball to break the stack with.
He'll probably go 4-1-2 here.
Yeah, he's going to need to draw the ball back a little bit. He would have preferred to have gotten straight in on the 1, because now when he draws the ball, he's going to be closer to the cushion. But he was still able to handle that quite nicely. Now he just floats to the side cushion, back out to near center of the table.
Very well done. He's rolled he's rolled a little bit more than he wanted to. Looks like the last rack.
Yeah, and this looks like a very similar break shot as the one he had last rack.
Oh, he hit that dead ball pop shot there, and I don't believe that's what he had in mind.
Yeah, I think that he really wanted to come about 1/3 of the way across table.
You watch Mizrak. We've been watching Mizrak this week. His cue ball seemingly is always right by the middle there on line with the break shot. But so far, Grady, he's running the balls well, and then he's just getting a little careless on his last couple of shots. But he has a 42-14 lead, and he'd like to get a lot more here.
This time he drew the ball a little more, and sensing that he needed to do that.
Well, he realizes last time he was lucky with that 1 ball coming out, or 8 ball it was.
Yes.
This time he has the 13, and he'll break the balls now with the 5. He's right by the side rail, real perfect.
This is a very nice angle for this particular break.
He'll go right into the rack here, and We would hit him fairly hard. She has done.
And I do believe he has the 9, but he's going to have to stretch and shoot over a ball. It's not the type of a shot that he wanted off of the break, but that's what he's been left with, and he doesn't particularly care too much for it. He would like to shoot it with his left hand if he's ambidextrous, but he's deciding to reach.
Oh, he made it, and he has the 4 ball straight in his side if you'd like. Over on table 1 here, the score is J.R. Gay 48, Rich Lesky 8. And we have Lou Butera doing a little machine gun routine here. He's cranking up against Pat Fleming, although he is down in the match. He's just taking the lead, though. I believe it's 34-31. Or is that 37-34?
Yes. I believe it's 34-31 in favor of Butera.
Okay, Grady has decided to play the 1 ball over here. And I look for him to go 1 rail and try to play a break shot here. As usual, I was wrong.
Well, maybe he sees something in the stack that we couldn't.
Well, if he's looking to go with the 6 ball into go with the 7 into the 6, but no, he's going to play the 3 ball. And now he'll break him with
he's
the
going to prove his lie slightly by pocketing the 3, putting himself in a better position to play the ball that he wanted to play in the on the preceding shot.
Well, he's made a real nice shot at knocking out the 6 ball, but he's left him another over the ball, left himself another over the ball shot, which is a 2 ball in the side pocket.
Yes, he's had to work a little bit in this rack.
And I believe both of these 2 racks come as a direct result, Billy, of getting out of line on his break shot.
He does have a shot on the 8 if he's able to reach it. If he spins the 8 in, the cue ball will then go into the 11 ball, freeing up the 11, 15, and 10 from one another. That's providing that the 10's not straight in on the combination. I don't know. He may not want to shoot that shot because he has to stretch to reach it. He might shoot the 12 first, then the 8.
Well,
No, he's not doing that either.
looks like he does. He's going to take that 6 ball out of there, and I don't know how he's going to break these balls. If he can go, he went right into him. Okay. And left himself a nice 11 ball.
Let's get a view from the top to find out exactly what he has.
Well, the 10 ball is down there and behind the rack, but it looks a little high. Other than that, I don't know unless he's going to try to kick something here and improve the 10 here, which is exactly what he did. And he did knock the 10 out, which is a makeable break shot. He just has to get dead perfect on the 11 here and try to slide there on the side rail.
He's got some problems there. It doesn't appear that...
Well, he didn't get on the 11, I don't believe, like he wanted to. Now he's going to play the 10, so he'll try to probably stay in the middle of the table here and shoot the 11 behind the rack break shot.
By playing position on the 11 in the way that he did, he'll follow through the 11, which will enable him to go into the corner ball. Once he comes off the bottom cushion,
Right.
that is.
Looks like the winner racked the 4 balls down there and a 3 ball in that area. Grady now leads in the match 56-14.
So he does have a good break shot here. He's just going to have to... He can't hit this real hard because he won't get the reaction off of the cue ball that he anticipates getting.
And he had a Pat Fleming-like break shot. Scattered the balls all over the table, but he missed the ball. So sometimes, you know, Billy, on a shot like that, I think you tend to worry more about breaking the balls than concentrating on pocketing the ball.
Actually, there were 2 ways he could have broken the balls off the 11. He could have cut the 11 ball thinly and broken with that technique, which that's what he obviously tried to do, but he hit the 11 ball too thinly.
Exactly.
The other way he could have done it was hit the 11 ball a little fuller, but not hitting it as hard, and then therefore he would have followed through the 11, but he wouldn't have got a real good break, but at least he would have gotten maybe 2, 3, 4 balls out and worked his way from that position. Well, he opted to go with the first way and overcut the 11.
Well, he's off Mike Zuglan an open rack and an opportunity to get back in his match. We talked about, oh, and Mike Zuglan comes right back with a miss and didn't cut the 3-ball in the corner pocket. Mike seems a little shook up in this match. Grady's, I think, his deliberate style might have something to do with that. Well, here's a situation in a match where you could put your opponent away. If you could put another 40-50 ball run together here, open up a 100-ball lead, it could be comfortable, although Mike is so capable of coming back anyways. Well, Grady just came off the back rail and he made a little risky shot because he didn't have really any insurance there, but he has left himself a 4-ball.
Well, he's going to try to do something with the 8-ball, I think, on this shot, possibly. No?
Well,
the 7.
Cross this up again. He's knocked the 7-ball out perfect on the left side of the rack here for breaker. So now he has a hard 2-ball, and the bad ball on this table is the 3, which Mike misses down there on the top of the table, frozen on the rail, and Grady's going to have to get down there, probably using the 6-ball to get onto it.
I think he's going to end up using either the 3 or the 11 as the key ball and clear those 2 balls last by either going 8-2, 5-6.
Well, that would be a good pattern because he would be able to have a lot of margin for error down there.
And now he's positioned the cue ball a little awkwardly, so therefore he can't be. And once again, he's falling a little out of line. Now he's causing problems for himself because he's not trying to clear the 6, or at least he's unable to clear it. I would play position for the 6 now. You really don't want to use the 6 as the key ball because you only have
looks like
one route.
He's left himself an angle on the 6. I don't know if he can hold this for the 11 or go across table. Well, he's tried to hold it, and he's hit the shot very well, so the 3-ball will be his key ball, and he'll have no problem getting down here for the 7. I believe he would have liked a little more angle, but he's gone 2 rails, and he's perfect on the 7-ball. This is the best position on the break shot he's had now in 3-4 racks.
Yes, it is. I agree with that totally. And Grady Matthews now extends his lead over Mike Zuglan 56-14 and is at the table shooting a break shot. Yeah, now Steve Mizrak certainly has his eye on this match, playing in a match of his own against Jimmy Fusco. Looks like Steve is well ahead of Jimmy Fusco, 70 balls to 0. And he's looking at Grady Matthews right now saying, come on, Grady, let's go. If you defeat him, I got a shot at him. And if I can beat him, it'll be all tied up in first place. Mizrak, Zuglan, maybe a possible playoff. We don't know yet.
Well, the way this match is going and the way Grady's playing, that very well could be the case. We'll have an important 9-ball match with Mizrak and Zuglan. That could very well tell the whole story. Grady has a 14-ball here. I believe he'll roll up there and try to break up the rack a little. That's exactly what he did, and left himself a perfect 3-ball. And he has either he has the 13, which is a high ball, or the 3-ball, which is a break shot. I don't believe he'll want to get that out of the way. He'll leave that.
And the 4-ball is also a potential break shot. Had he shot the 3, maybe he would have ran the risk of going into the 4 with the cue ball and eliminated both the 3 and the 4, and then would have found himself having to create something that which he didn't want to do.
Well, the 4-ball is a good break shot. Well, he just improved the 3 to where he wants it perfectly, so that ends that speculation. But you always want the 3 where it's at rather than the 4. It gives you more pocket to shoot at, and you can hit the ball a little harder, and it's easier ball to pocket.
And that was a nice shot, going in between the 3 and the 1, going into the 13, and finally coming to rest in just about an ideal part of the table. Now he has to be concerned about when he should go up and get the 2, because naturally he would like to finish off his work down there, the triangle part of the table. So therefore, he wants to eliminate the 2. He should go up there, I think, next and get the 2, then come back down and finish up his work.
Well, he didn't seem to be playing position on a 2, and he didn't. He's going to shoot the 8-ball straight up there. He could get the 2-ball off of this. That's exactly what he's trying to do.
He would like to either use the 13 or the 4 as his key ball. I think he's going to end up using the 4 ball as his key ball. Now he's gone down table too far to shoot the 1, 13, 4. Now he's going to have to go 13, 1, 4.
Well, he has a lot of options here right now, so even though he went out of line a little bit, he'll use the 1 to get to that key ball, which was the 4.
Now he has to be careful not to get on the other side of the 4 here. That's totally the wrong side. He wants to make, that's the wrong side of the 4. This is the wrong side. Well, he's okay.
He got lucky with that. You're right. He got lucky with that roll because he didn't want to be on that side. He come out excellent position here, middle of the table.
And once again, he's ended up ideally positioned for the 3 ball break shot.
It's 68 for Matthews and 16 for Zuglan.
It's now 82 for Matthews. He just they
updated
the
scoreboard.
82 to 16.
Okay, Grady is threatening to put this match away soon here. We talked about, I asked Billy if he thought this would be a blowout or not, and you know, sometimes we talked the other night on one of the tapes about when good teams or good players are matched up, invariably you find a blowout rather than an even game, and as was the case with Zuglan Mizrak, where Zuglan just beat Steve fairly handily. So you know, you can't. It's hard to predict them.
Grady's trying to determine whether or not the 10 will pass into the side pocket. The 5 ball may be blocking off a portion of that pocket, and now he's looking at the possible combination. And it was a 3 ball combination that was laying very nicely for him after breaking up the balls. It didn't appear that he came up with a shot, but that 3 ball combination was really welcomed.
He made a real nice shot there, and now he has a little problem. He has a 5 ball which is frozen on that side rail. He needs to get on the other side, but the problem there is the 1 ball is blocking the pocket. So
if you look on the monitor, Frank, the 1 ball I don't believe is blocking the pocket, and he probably would be better off leaving the 1 ball there, playing position on the 5. After pocketing the 5, he would at least have the 1 ball as an insurance ball.
Right, exactly. The 1 ball is not in the way. And
he should go after the 5 next, I think, because he's got a perfect angle on the 4 to go cross table for the 5.
Well, he seemed to play shape, I think, on the 6 ball here. What I think he's going to try to do, Billy, maybe try to kick the 5 ball out of there rather than try to make it, because that's the best option.
Yeah, no, that's a very good observation there, Frank.
That's exactly what he did right there.
He saw it the same way.
Now he could make the 5 in this corner or the side and get your 1 ball out right now. Roll down here by the bottom rail. And they're fairly open now. He still is yet to knock out the perfect break shot, but I believe he'll do that right now with the 10. He'll kick the 6 out.
And he looks like he's positioned himself ideally to do exactly what Frank said. Pocket the 10 and just nudge the 6 out to the other side of the triangle, which he's done very nicely. The 5 is there, off the cushion. He alleviated that problem and on the other shot, and now he'll just, well, he's gotten the cue ball position to where he may even have to shoot the 14 here.
Yeah, so as we said, the 5 ball does go on the side, so that's his best bet right now. He can go 1 rail and come right back down for the 5 on the side and then roll down for these balls.
Okay, now this is the key shot in this particular rack right here, Frank. He has to position the cue ball so he can run the remaining balls on the table. So this is a lot more difficult than it appears. He has a channel that he can float right down for the 7 or the 2. He would like to go down that line.
Well, the risk you run here, you could go too far down and end up on the other side of 9 or on the other side of 7. He ended up perfect. He come down the back rail. He has the 2 ball. He could just knock these balls out with no problem. 2, 8, 9, 2, 9, 8.
I think it's a little closer to the 2 than he wanted, and he does have an angle. He's going to have to settle for the 9 and then draw off the 2, play shape for the 7, and then the 8, or maybe they just 8 and the 7. Now, he can go either way. He's electing to go 7, 8, 6.
7, 8, and that's his key ball, his 8 ball. And he'll go 1 rail for the 8. And just follow it right up. Now, we expected Grady to come out fighting and play an excellent match here. We didn't really expect the runaway score being 96 to 16.
I don't know if Steve Mizrak is on a run of 86 or not, but I do know the score is 86-0. Now that suggests to me that he very could be on. It very could be a run of 86, and he has the high run of the tournament up to this point, 153.
Well, Grady just hit a brace shot and got an excellent roll on the 5 ball. He's on top of the table, but he would have had to shoot a long 10 or 7 shot, but 7 ball. But he's left himself a 5, and although he decided to bank it, we thought he'd cut the ball in here, but he banked it, and now he's in perfect shape to break these balls with the 7. And he's gone into the pack, and he's.
You know, I would myself would have gone into the pack a lot harder than that, and drew the cue ball.
Exactly, he finessed that ball, and I'll tell you that 15 would have rolled up a little more. As it is, he's left himself a combination, but now he's fine right here. And I believe now he'll go back off to that back rail and out and hit this one a little harder. That's exactly what he did. Hit it harder. You mentioned Mizrak with high run, Billy. Opening night, opening match. Steve Mizrak, Grady MATHEWS. After taking 3 scratches and jockeying back and forth, Mizrak ran 153 balls and out on Grady.
I think Grady may be forced to either shoot the 8 or the 4 here. It looks like the 8 would be the ball I would shoot. It's a problem ball, and he's not really badly positioned to shoot it now.
Right, he had the perfect angle and just slid it down the rail there. Looking here, 13 balls sitting out there on the right side of the rack for his breaker. I don't know if he'll try to come down for the 9 or draw back for his next shot. If the 2 ball goes, he's in fine shape. And he's nudges a 3, but he's left himself a little bit of problem there with the 3 ball. I don't know if he's dead or not.
Well, from the monitor, it looks like there's a lot of area between the 3 and the 5. Excuse me, the 3 and the 10, I believe it is.
Right,
so therefore, it is makeable on a combination.
He might decide to just come back now and get that combination out of the way, and that's exactly what he's decided to do.
And after shooting the combination, the stripe ball, whatever it is, the 14 or the 10, could represent a break shot, maybe.
It's a 10, and
let's go on top and take a look at the 13. That's an excellent break ball.
And I don't know, he didn't leave himself a 10 ball, I don't believe. Looks like from here he's going to have to go run that 4 ball up in the corner.
The applause you just heard was for Steve Mizrak. Apparently it was a run, and he finished it with 86, and now Jimmy Fusco steps to the table. But this is a very important shot here for Grady MATHEWS, and he hit it into the cushion.
Grady just made a bad shot on the 4 ball. Instead of just hitting the ball firm up in the pocket, he rolled it up there, and he just overcut it, and he ended up in perfect shape. And Mike gets another opportunity here. He hasn't had many in this match.
And he steps to the table with a very good opportunity because he has a break ball in the 13, and there's just 3 other balls that he has to clear. So therefore, you know, this is really ideal. This is what he wanted to step to the table with, something good, and that's exactly what he's gotten.
Well, he's left himself a nice angle here on the 4, I believe, or no, he stays straight on. He'll just draw back for the 13, and he'll just get back in the middle of the table here. No rails, and he'll have a perfect shot. He decided to go with 1 rail and popped it out at her and left himself a little more straight than he'd like to be. But here's the time. If Mike's going to mount a charge, it has to be right here because he can't afford to give Grady another shot. Grady's sitting at 107 and Mike's at 19. But we've talked about Mike being an explosive player, so he's never out of a match.
And this is a very interesting situation. Here you have the leader of the tournament, Zuglan, with a 10-1 record, facing Grady MATHEWS and trailing by a significant margin of practically almost 100 balls. Time's running out on Zuglan, but since so far in this tournament, he's been able to do just exactly about everything he's needed to do. So we'll see if he can make this comeback.
Well, he hasn't left himself a real good shot here. I guess the 8 ball is open. And he's perfect from here. Mike needs to run 4 or 5 racks here to at least get back in the match. He's played the shape for the 1 here. He might decide if he has the angle to.
Well, the 10 may go. It's possible that the 10 would go. If the 10 goes, it's a perfect break shot.
Oh, that's a break shot. He'll just follow through real nice. Have his 1 ball or 4 ball for an insurance ball. He followed right through the pack and ended up in the middle of the table, so he's excellent right now. I believe he might decide to leave the 2 ball as his breaker on the right-hand side of the rack. Now he'll shoot the 15 ball, and that'll nudge the 3 out of the way. He nudged the 1 out of the way. He got himself a straight in 11. Well, the 14's sitting up there on the right side rail there, off the rail, and I believe that is what he'll use for his key ball here. Get on the 2 ball breaker. Here's the 1 ball. He'll just roll up now for the 6.
I don't know. He may shoot the 14. I don't know, and then clear the 9 possibly.
Well, he has a little bit of a problem with the 3 ball laying there, but
Yeah, I didn't like him leaving the 3 ball there this long.
if he goes with the 6 over for 14, 9-3, that could be the last 4 balls.
Yeah, by leaving the 3 there that long, it certainly is an indication that he was going to use maybe that for the key ball.
Right. And he'll just go 9-3 instead, and he's still perfect.
It looked like a bit more of a risky route, but nevertheless, it was effective.
He'll just draw this ball real deep.
Narrowly missing the 2 ball, but like I said, nevertheless, he was able to do exactly what he had in mind and do it well.
He almost got the kiss there, which would have been a really bad error, but he missed the kiss, and he's perfect on the 2. He's trailing in the match 107-33.
Okay, now the cue ball is going down table, but fortunately the 11 ball also went down table, and then Mike's come up with a nice shot on the 11.
Well, there's a roll you always dream about, because he would have to shoot a long 15 ball shot. He'll go 2 rails here, come down either for the 1 or 15. 10 ball's a nice break shot if he wants to use it, but he's too straight on the 10.
There's a lot of balls that are very workable below the rack, the 4, the 6, even the 9, but the 4 and 6 are really ideally positioned to solve the problem of this particular rack. All he needs to do is float down, or he'll get down there off of the 1. He'd like to get onto either the 4 or the 6 to open up the other part of the rack and most likely push out a break shot for himself.
He's going to do that right here with the 1, and I believe it'll be the 4 ball, because that's the one with the angle, and he'll go into this pack, not very hard, because he doesn't need to put a lot of speed to that pack, and he broke him open real nice.
I think he was kind of more concerned about getting a shot after using the 4 ball. Therefore, if he would have hit it softly, he may not have come up with a shot, considering the 6 ball was blocking both the 13 and the 14. And he's really not happy with the results of this particular shot.
Well, he's forced to shoot another side pocket shot, the 5 ball. He's going to have to come down here underneath these balls and get some congestion out of the way. He's left himself with I believe a 14 ball shot here, and he shook his head. I don't believe he wanted to be able to shoot the 14 and kiss the 13 here.
Maybe he's unsure that he has room to pocket the 14. I think that he does. Oh, he was unhappy about not being able to control the cue ball any better than that because of the 13 and the 14, the way they were lying.
Well, he's left himself with a severe cut here on a 9. And he has the balls to protect him here, so he'd have to worry about losing the cue ball on that shot with that angle.
But now he's confronted with the problem of what ball he's going to use for his break ball.
He's shooting the 12, so the 7 does not look good. So I don't know if he.
Now he could shoot the 13 and bump the 7 here.
He'll probably try to draw one rail right up here and then have a saver with the 3 ball.
I've noticed him in prior matches. He does this very nicely.
He's executed that shot brilliantly, and now he's forced with the problem. If he wants to run the 8 ball, you shoot the 3 and run the 8 ball up the other end of the table and use his 6 ball for a key ball. I don't believe he's going to try to. Well, it looks like he might be coming one rail and real strong draw.
You know, I like your shot an awfully lot, but of course, if you can control the cue ball and make sure that you have a nice angle off of the 6, then his shot wasn't all that bad. But I kind of like your shot of eliminating the 8 and just naturally going up table for position on the 6, where you had a lot more room for error on that particular shot. But of course,
because it is off the rail. Had it been on a rail, then obviously you would go with the other ball. But no, he's ended up perfect. The 8 ball is off the rail, and he's not gonna have a problem with this. Now Mike's starting to get up a little bit ahead of steam here, and you can see he has a little confidence going.
And again, he's ideally positioned for a real nice break off the 7.
He's now trailing in the match 107-47. And you know the way Mike plays, Billy, and you know it doesn't take long to narrow that gap. He puts racks together real fast.
Yeah, one would think that even though Grady Matthews made an error by overcutting the 11 ball, he was well ahead of Zuglan, so therefore he shouldn't really be concerned about losing the match possibly. But Mike Zuglan, like I mentioned, really has done everything they ask of him up at this point. And once again, he's showing us that, listen, you miss on me, and you're jeopardizing your chances of winning.
You know, that's the nature of straight pool. You know, you're always concerned when you're sitting in a chair. Crazy.
And notice the 3 balls on the right side of the table, Frank, the 1, 4, and the 6. It kind of looks like they lined up perfectly for the combination 1, 4, 6.
Well, if that ball's dead, he gets a real break because that's exactly the case here. He's going to get a nice break because if those balls weren't dead, you know that would present quite a problem for him to try to maneuver and try to break them up. But he really got a roll there, you know. But he's also got a bad one right back because the other 2 balls froze to each other, so he'll have to break those.
And he also has a 12 and an 8 on this side of the table that are very near the side cushion. The 12 is frozen on it.
Well, I believe he's going to go into those 2 balls right now. He has the 9 ball here behind the rack. No, he's going to shoot the 10 and go into them.
He may try to loosen up the 1, 4 on this shot, off the 11 possibly or something. Oh, he's putting the 11 in play now to loosen up the 1 and 4, but also that's a good break shot. He may shoot the 10 and then either go into him off the 10 or the 9.
He's going to draw underneath right here and break him. Exactly what he's done. Now, did he leave himself a shot other than his break ball? I think he didn't want to fool with the 11, but he can shoot the 3.
Yeah, but by shooting the 3, he's going to have to elevate. I think, well, he doesn't have to elevate.
Over on the next table here, Mr. Butera just announced to the crowd that Pat Fleming is on a run of 91 balls. Mike's going to try to come down here, I believe, and play shape on a 12. It's a bad ball. He didn't get over there for the 8, so he'll shoot the 1 instead. He needs to get the 12 out of the way.
You know, Frank, I like the 9 ball as the key ball because you can go 2 cushions around the 11 using the 9. I like the 2, 4, 8, 12, 9.
Kick shot here. And he's kicked it out nice, and he has the 12 now. You're right, Billy. The 9's a much better key ball than the 4. Much more margin for error.
Particularly when you had the 12 over there to drop onto the 9 nicely. And now he's going to go the other route. He's going to go either 9, 8, 4 or 9, 4, 8 because the cue ball really isn't positioned, very good right now. He really can't do much with this particular shot if he shoots the 9. Well, and he doesn't want to interfere with the 11 ball.
No, he's left himself more angle on the 9 than he would like to avoid the kiss on the 11. But he's going to shoot the 9, and he's going to try to go up there, I believe, for the 4 ball.
He probably will go into the 4 here if he can.
That's exactly what he's done, and he caught the rail first, which made it an easier shot. So now he has a choice here to go up in the corner with the 4, or if he has an angle on the 8, he'll come out for the 4. That's exactly what he's going to do, so he does have the angle.
Yeah, but going into the 4, he assured himself that he wouldn't disturb the 11 ball, the break ball, and also by hitting it at the speed that he hit it with, he realized after going into the into the 4 that he would either end up with a shot on the 4 or on the 8. So therefore, his thinking was very good, and he's being rewarded for it.
Mike just played a real risky shot there. He played safe for the 4 ball up in the top of the table and almost got himself frozen on the 11, but he's ended up now with a nice shot, a cut shot on the 11 ball, and Mike's back in this match already. Another couple racks. He's down 107 to 61. Pat Fleming shows no signs of stopping over there. He's into the 100-ball run right now. I look for Mike to crunch this break shot, which he's done, and
he's going to get rewarded for this also.
He's broken them so there's not 2 balls frozen, and he has plenty of shots to work with. He has a perfect 2 ball out there now, and
this is an excellent match, Frank. One of the better matches of the tournament, I do think. You know, Grady MATHEWS getting out to over a 100-ball lead, and Mike Zuglan actually responding to the challenge, coming right back.
Mike just made a nice shot. We talked about the 2 ball. He's nudged it a shade, and he's made it perfect now. So, you know, Grady's gonna. There's a point. Oh, Pat Fleming on next table on a run of 107 or 8 just miscued, and he's leading Butera by 133 to 56. Mike has one bad ball, Billy. It would be the one he's shooting right now, the 4, but which is frozen on the rail. But he has the perfect angle to get it out there. And on this shot, what makes the shot a little easier, there's so many balls are open. He didn't really have to play perfect shape. And he's, you know, it seems like he speeded up his play some now too. And
yeah,
he
feels very good about his position now.
You can sense the player's confidence building up.
If we can go on top, John, we'll take a look at the situation. Thank you, and here we are. The 2 ball on the left side of the rack seems like a very good ball to break them with.
Excellent break shot. He shoots a 3 here, and we'll look for him to maybe draw into the 9 and nudge it out of the way. Well, he's going to shoot. Well, I don't understand that, Billy.
He's
like the 3 ball?
The 3 for the break ball.
Okay, the 3 ball is the better ball.
But he's found himself in a fairly awkward position because he's finally stopped to think things over here, and he would like to move that 8 some way, and getting to the 8 may be a problem. Well, 13-9 on the side, possibly.
If he had an angle on a 13, but he seems to be straight here, and
maybe he's going to go into the 8 here.
Yep, that's exactly what he did. No, he has the balls open perfect now. I look for him to use the 15 as the key ball. You go 8, or maybe he's going to go 15-8, but I like the 15.
He's going to go 9-8, 15, it looks like. Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly what he's done, and done it perfect.
Well, he may have come over too far, Frank. He's gotten on the wrong side of the 8.
Now, that was careless. He just let that cue ball roll up.
Most definitely is.
No reason there for that.
He's going to play position for the 15 in the other side pocket now.
And he's hit it perfect, so he's a little out of line, but I believe he's going 1 rail. He's going to go to the top of the table and out here.
He has to really spin it, too, to get back in line again.
And he hit the angle perfect. He would have liked to put a little more speed on that ball, get a little shorter to the rack, but he's in the middle of the table and has a perfect break shot on a 3 ball.
I've noticed one thing about the Playpool players, Frank, is that they don't hesitate to keep the break ball close to the rack. You know, like the 3 ball post to the 2, he opted to shoot the 2 away and save the 3. And so therefore the ball close to the rack seems to be ideally positioned for most of the players. That's what I've gathered by watching.
Well, this way you could scatter them more without hitting the ball as hard as you would otherwise have to hit it. Mike's going into this rack again now. He's now trailing in the match 107 to 75. But he hit that shot perfect. You saw how nice them balls broke with that 3 ball being close to the rack. And then the more you start going away from the rack and you get closer to the rail, that shrinks your pocket up, and you have to be much more accurate, and it's just a much harder break shot.
And you don't get the action off of the stack that you would if the ball was closer to the stack.
Right. Mike seems to be. You would think Mike's the one with the lead now. The way he's playing, you could see like he's asserting himself right now.
Well, maybe that's due to the fact that maybe he thinks he is the person with the lead.
Well, and also I think he realizes that if he wins this match, he could almost, make his match with Mizrak tonight meaningless.
Yes.
And you always like that situation, the way not having to beat Mizrak.
Well, Mike Zuglan is the only person in the tournament right now that has control of his own destiny.
Right.
Every time he goes to the table, he has control, but not so with Mizrak or Gabe, because they had to rely on someone else to win for them to get in position to win the tournament.
It's right. You never like to have someone else to depend on them to be the spoiler. Did you notice when Mike started this run? He's starting to put a nice little string together here.
Well, he didn't have very many balls. I think he had around 15 balls or so, but maybe we can get assistance from someone to give us that information, possibly.
But Mike has a perfect 6-ball here on the right side of the rack. I believe that's our. Thank you for that information. We've been informed that Mike did start his run at 15, so he was going. He's wonder when he's going to get the 10 out of there, but he needs to get that out of there soon. He doesn't want to leave that as his last ball.
No, but then again, he needs to clear the 14 too. That's a problem ball also, because the 14 will not go into the lower left-hand corner pocket.
No.
I can foresee, if he has the right angle on the 2, I can foresee him playing 2, 10, 7, 14, but that's kind of difficult.
He just doesn't want to catch a kiss here on the 6-ball, because that is his breaker, and he wants to miss a kiss on the 2, which he did perfectly, and now he'll get the 10 out.
Yeah, he's going to go 10, 2, 14, and now he has positioned himself straight in on the 10. He didn't want that. He wanted to make sure that he didn't have the rail to deal with after pocketing the 10. Now he has to shoot off the cushion, something that he didn't want to do, but...
Well, he's fairly straight on his ball. All he has to do is make it, and he's going to have a shot on the 14 in this right-hand corner pocket. But he'd see that one being straight on that last ball caused him to knock his break shot out of the way, but he has knocked the 6-ball behind the rack for another good break shot if he could draw back off the rail here.
Oh, I don't know. He's gotten down table a little too far, I believe, for the 6-ball.
He's left himself a real severe angle on the 6. He left himself real close to that object ball, and it was just hard to control that draw.
Okay, now from the monitor, our first look at this, when you look at it, you would just think that, it's too tough of a cut for him.
Yeah.
But I've seen balls like this cut in, even though they appear too critical of a cut here on the monitor. I've seen similar shots cut in. It looks like he may have a shot on the 6. It's not going to be easy, though.
Well, Mike has got back in the match. It's unfortunate he needed to get within one more rack, but he's going to shoot the 6-ball. He's only down 18 balls right now. And he's just made a beautiful...
Very nicely executed. Watch out for the cue ball. It's hitting... it hit the point of the corner pocket 2 or 3 times, and he was able to stay away from the scratch, but he's got a tester coming up.
You see exactly what happens when you turn the cue ball loose. That's why the top players very rarely do that. Of course, on a shot like that, he had no choice, but that comes from getting on a line. He's going to play the 15-ball here. This is not at all an easy shot, Billy. Mike just made an excellent shot under the pressure and being on the big run. Those are always much harder, and he pocketed it with no problem.
That definitely was the type of a shot that stops a lot of runs, but not this time. Mike Zuglan pocketing the ball perfectly, finds himself in very good position once again and to sustain his run.
Well, he's looking at his 10-ball. He would have liked to have a nice angle on his 10 to break up that cluster, but he's straight on, so I'm trying to see whether he can make that 12-ball. He's going to definitely shoot the 10 if I draw back here. Well, not. Actually not. He's going to follow it. Now he's going to run the 9-ball up the top of the table. Shouldn't be that difficult a shot. And he made it with no problem. And now he's open and he has a break shot here with the 11, and he'll just draw it into the 2 and break up that cluster of balls right there. But
now he had to be careful there because after drawing into the 2, he finds himself now behind the 12 in the 1.
that was a very that wasn't a good shot Mike just played right there. He didn't snap the cue ball and he just slid back behind the bottom rail here.
And I'm afraid for Mike that this is a problem now, maybe one that he can't recover from, not immediately, that is. He may have to opt to play some sort of a safety, or he may even have to go after a very difficult shot on the 2.
Well, he's definitely lining up the 2 ball for the side, so Mike's not going to play safe here, of course. Excellent shot on 2.
Boy, he
right
hit
in the
that
middle.
really, really nice.
It was they would call that in basketball nothing but nets. Under a lot of pressure there too.
Yeah, he definitely shot that one from the 3-point line with hands in his face.
Well, now he has a dead 12 ball. He played the 12 off the 1, and he's back in perfect position again. He has a 14 ball over here on the left side, and if he wants, he could just leave that ball there now.
I look for him to shoot the 5 just to clear the problem from the center of the table. It looks like everything else is laying quite nicely there. And I look for him to shoot the 5, maybe just pick off the 8 in the side next, just to open up the table.
Mike is being very deliberate now. He senses he's back in this match, and he doesn't want to make a mistake now. Shoot the 3. I believe he's going to try to get an angle on the 5 ball here. Which is exactly what he did. And
now he'll just shoot the 5 and move the 8.
with the 1 ball as his insurance ball. Real safe shot here.
He has to watch he don't get behind the 4 here. Oh, he's fine.
And being that he's right-handed, he just might elect to use that 4 as a breaker rather than the 14. And use his 8 ball as a key ball. It's hard to tell from here whether that 4 ball is too low or not, but if there it is. There's on a monitor, and the 4 ball does look like a good breaker. I would prefer the 14 with having the 13 ball where it is for the key ball, and use 8 as a key. But Mike's right-handed, so I think he would rather have the 4. He's going with the 13 as 14 as a breaker.
Yeah, I would think so. It looks like he's going to play shape for
Perfect.
the 4 now.
Draw back for the 4.
And then go cross table. He wouldn't mind even getting straight in on the 13th then if he could draw it back. So he just wants to make sure he get cross tables. Straight in's fine here.
Well, Mike Zuglan is in total control of this. I mean, even though the score wouldn't indicate it, but he seems like he's in control of this match right now.
Oh, that's a perfect break shot.
Nice
even
angle.
though it's on the other side of the table, he can reach it and quite easily, and he's going to get a lot of action off of this break.
It's now Matthews 107, Zuglan 103, with Mike Zuglan on a big run, an 88 ball run.
And at this point in the match, you would have to make Mike Zuglan a prohibitive favorite.
Absolutely.
To win the match.
He definitely looks like he senses the kill now. And Mike just slammed that break shot, and
You got the 12, I think. No, he may not have the 12 at the
well,
other
he
end.
has. I was gonna say, he has a 1. Can't go for 1 and a 9 with the 3.
He may have the 11 in the side. If the 12 doesn't pass the 13, which I'm not really sure that it will, he has the 11 in the side.
But as good as he hit that shot, he really didn't get much of a reward here. I don't know if he's going to go with the 13 in the corner or 12 in the side. It looks like he's lining up the 12, and it also looks like he's playing it in the corner. So on this shot, our monitor was a little deceiving. He's pocketed that ball with no problem. With the 13 is out of the rack and sitting real nice right now for the next break shot. Mike's handling this run real flawlessly.
13 is out, like Mike mentioned, sitting there very nicely for a break ball. And the 11, 10, and 5 are the problem balls. You don't want to disturb that 13 ball, but in order to break loose the 10, 11, and 5, he might have to disturb the 13 ball. We'll find out.
Well, if he wants to go one rail here, if the 11 was open here, he could just play position on it, but I don't believe it is. I think he's going to have to break those 3. Ideally, he'd just like to go into the 5 by itself, and he wouldn't disturb the 10 or the 13. But
I don't know if that was the right... Yeah, he would like to go into the 5. You don't want to go into the 10. Going into the 10, you might find yourself in the back of the balls with no shot.
he's coming around it. He's not going to do that, so he's going to wait a while. I don't think...
Looked like he may have tried to brush the 5 there, slightly opening up something for himself, giving him some sort of relief there. But that didn't work, so I guess he has to change his plan slightly.
Well, he does have 3 balls up on top of the table, 15 balls going next, and he could play shape for the 4 inside.
Let me ask you this question. Does the 11 go into the lower left-hand corner?
I've been looking at that one, and that would solve the whole problem. If it does, then he doesn't need to. But on the second last shot ago, he seemed like he tried to break the 5, to open up the pocket a little more. So,
if the 11 does go in the lower left-hand corner pocket, the 2 ball will then be the key ball to get onto the 11, and
right.
that'll open up the entire rack.
Because he doesn't seem to be making, there it is right now, and we'll see that the 11 ball is in fact open. Well, he might just, the way he's going about it, like he does, he shoot the 13 ball. We thought he'd go with the 11, but obviously it wasn't open. He's gonna have to.
Maybe he's gonna kick the 5 out here for a break.
Here. Sure. Maybe follow up with kick and then follow up for the 6 on the same shot.
He does that so well. I've seen him put all his eggs in one basket so many times and come out smelling like a rose.
That's a situation there exactly where if a novice player does that, he's not going to execute the shot, and there goes the run. But Mike's just so, he's on the money all the time, and he can go for that kind of shot, that low risk shot or high risk shot.
And it's those little unnoticeable things like that that makes him one of the great players in the world today, and this time it enabled him to sustain this wonderful run that he's on.
I tell you, I wouldn't want to bet against Mike next month up in New York in the U.S. Open. That's going to be a great tournament, and I don't know all the field right now, but Mike, I can't see anyone being a favorite over Mike in that event.
Well,
and he's now taking the lead. He's at 117, and Matthews is at 102, and Mike is on a 102 ball run. And still going.
Facing a deficit of 107 to 15, one would have a tendency to believe that, hey, maybe this is a match that Mike Zuglan is going to lose. Maybe he can't come back from this type of a deficit. But in the meantime, a very relentless Mike Zuglan is proving us wrong, those of us who are doubting him, and showing us what a tremendous player he actually is.
Bill, if you just walked in the room right now and you were a spectator and you looked at the scoreboard, you would see, it looks like a fairly close game, but not knowing what's going on. And believe it or not, this has been a one-sided game. And it's hard to believe with Grady only 10 balls behind.
And anyone that has been watching this game would be really surprised to see Mike Zuglan not run out.
Yes.
We've talked about as he's been playing this particular match.
We've talked about that before, where even a guy could be 50 balls away from going out, but you could almost, as an opponent, sitting in a chair, you can sense that he's going out. He's in that command of what he's doing at that point. And that's where Mike's at right now. Mentioned that he had a 148 ball run last summer at the U.S. Open in New York. So Mike gets rolling. He doesn't stop. He has the 2 balls here behind the rack, the 10 and the 6. I believe he'll use the 10 here to try to nudge out the 13. Just roll it real easy into it. Yes, he did. He's kicked the 13 perfect. Again, we're in fact the same 13 ball, and he likes the ball and the location very well.
Okay, he has a problem on the left side of the table in the 3 and the 1, which I'm certainly sure he will deal with. successfully, like he has all his other problems in this particular match. He missed one ball that we didn't figure he should have missed early in the match, which gave Grady an opportunity to extend his lead, which he did. But apparently it didn't look like he extended it by enough balls.
We mentioned, that's exactly what he'd have to do. You just can't give Mike too many opportunities, and Grady did.
And when you look back at the ball Grady missed, the 11 ball, that break shot that you and I figured he should never have missed.
Nope.
But at that time, we didn't think it would be that critical of a miss for him because he was ahead in the match by almost 100 balls.
And Mike proceeds to get up there and overtake him with one inning, and the inning's still going.
He tried to go into the 1 with the cue ball, but he wasn't able to do that. And he still has that problem with the 1 and 3 that he knows that he has to deal with, and soon.
Well, I would look to try to, I would prefer to run the 1, make the 1 ball rather than try to break it right now. But off this 9 ball, I'm sure that's what he's going to do. He'll shoot the 1.
It looks like he's going to play 1, 6, 14, 3. Now the 14 to the 3 is going to be the problem here.
This is a nice little bit of work in front of him, even though it looks fairly obvious. But he has to execute 3 nice shots here.
Now he's forced to play 6, 3, 14 because of the position of the cue ball. He's getting to the 3 is natural. He has to be careful here.
Well, now you're going to see a little traveling here because he can't hold the ball, and he can't come with the left-hand English to get on the 3. He's going to have to go like 4 rails here.
He really surprised me by not playing shape for the 3 ball on the preceding shot. Now he really has a lot of work in front of him here. 1, 2, up for the 3. Very nicely done.
And
it looks like he's gotten himself in reasonable line on the 3 to pocket the 3, come off that cushion slightly, and sustain this wonderful run that he's on.
Just barely. Oh, man.
Great shot.
Mike Zuglan right now is
great shot. Hit the heart of the pocket.
That's a beautiful shot. Okay, we understand now if it's official that Mike Zuglan was on a 99 ball run starting the rack, so now he's on a 112 ball run. And the score is Matthews 107, Zuglan 131.
Well, Zuglan still needs to get through this rack and go into the next rack after this rack in order to close him out. Okay, he has broken the balls, but it doesn't look like right away that he has a shot. He may have a bank on the 3, which is very marginal whether or not he can do that.
That might even be a kiss. I don't know if he could even hit the 3 to bank it. He looked like he hit the break shot good, but Mike's going to let the other player shoot. He's not in a hurry here to make a crucial mistake. And you can see a look of pressure on his face now, and he's definitely wanting to run out. He has a severe 4-ball cut here, but if he makes, I would look for him to end up in real nice shape.
Barely, but it did go in. Now the 15 has come across table to aid him in this run.
It rattled, and he hit that ball at the right speed. That had he hit harder, it would have jawed. But being hit at the right speed, it rattled and fell in. And he missed the ball straight in the hole. I'm very surprised to see Mike miss that ball.
Well, you know what I think happened, and yes, exactly. I think Steve Miserak actually distracted him somewhat.
They're down there
at the other end of the room.
Miz is down there showing off his new bridge, and looks more like a golf ball retriever. But I don't know. I mean, I don't want to make an excuse for Mike, but nevertheless, he just blew a golden opportunity to run 119 and out. It would have been 131 and out, but Grady's right in the match. I mean, we talked about Zuglan being in control, but now Grady knows that he has a chance to run 43 and out, and I wouldn't put it past him at all.
Well, Mike really doesn't. Mike really isn't happy about what just transpired. Believe me, I noticed that by the expression, and obviously that he was distracted somewhat by the commotion at the other end of the room. And I understand it wasn't done intentionally, but nevertheless, it was still done, and I believe that was partially responsible for Mike not coming with the 15 ball because it was a very makeable ball. 11 ball for the break ball, but of course the 10 ball is positioned quite nicely for the break ball too, and especially considering he likes the higher break
Right,
ball.
and the fact that he's right-handed. So we talked about that before, the other night, about him liking the high break balls, and he executes that shot real well. We could always, well, he looks like he wants the 2 ball on the side, which is what he's going to play here. And then he has the 7 down there also on the side, so he's in good shape right here. This would be to say the least, a heartbreaking loss for Mike. I mean, we talked about him going out, and it looked like that was the case, but he missed.
Dramatic tournament, but to see Matthews defeat Zuglan here, that would give Mizrak an outside chance, or a chance to win the tournament by defeating Zuglan in the 9 ball, sending it into a possible playoff situation.
Well, over here on the table 1, we have J.R. Gay, 2 local players, Clevelanders. J.R. Gay beating Rich Lesky 131-59. I believe Grady is going to use the 9 as the breaker here. He'll either go 10-11-6, probably 10-11-6. And he'll just get on the 6 ball, and he doesn't even need to use the rail here. He'll just slide right over and get perfectly on the 9 ball. Well, he's not excellent.
And by going to the rail, all he's doing is improving his eye, or assuring himself of a better shot. By shooting the 6 ball, not using a cushion, his room for error isn't very, very much. Therefore, by using the cushion, he has much more room for error. And he was able to use the cushion and come out in perfect line for the 9 being the break ball.
Well, the score is now 133 for Zuglan, 119 for Matthews. Oh, and Grady just made a terrible mistake. He hit the ball too hard. He's missed a break shot and scratched. So if there's a time where he might have given the game away, I'm afraid to say that might be it.
Yes, and adding insult to injury after missing the ball, he scratched.
Yeah, so Mike has the ball in hand behind the line here, and he has an easy 12 ball to start him out. He doesn't. He's just right down there by the string there. I don't think Mike's gonna be distracted again and make that same mistake that he did before. He has a nice, well, he has a 9 ball here, but the 2 ball could cause a little problem going into the rack, but I don't know. He's going to shoot the 7 first. I'm very surprised to see Grady miss it. I thought Grady would take this one down to the wire, and then we would have been looking at a great match. It's already been a great match, but.
And it already is just about down to the wire.
Yeah, so one mistake here. Whoever makes the next mistake loses.
Well, all in all, I think that we've watched a very, very well played match by both players, particularly the guy at the table right now, Mike Zuglan.
From your years of experience watching and playing in tournaments, Billy, when it gets to, they call this crunch time, and when you get down to the final day and going into the night sessions, it just seems like the cream always rises to the top. Well, I don't know if Mike might not be able to hold his 15. I think he's going to the top of the table and back out. He gets that shot real well, and he plays that shot a lot. He's going to be right down here on the 2 ball.
Now let's go upstairs for another view at this. Okay, here we are again.
If the 4 goes by the 11 here, which it looks like it does, that takes that problem out of the way with the 4-11 over there.
It looks like he's going to have to play either position for the 4 or the 11. Well, no, he's shooting the 5 here. I would think he would want to leave the 5 because the 10 does pass into the lower left-hand corner pocket, and it is a ball position to where he could break loose the 4 from the 1, the 14 from the 1. So I don't know if going into the balls now. Well, I don't like him shooting the 5, but who am I? Against Mike Zuglan. What am I doing here?
Well, what he decided to do, and he's made a great shot. He's decided just to play shape on the 4 up there rather than try to run it down here past the 11. And that's the best option. And now he'll use the 10 to knock out the little cluster of balls by the spot there, and he still needs to get the 11 out because 11 is not a good ball at all where it's sitting.
He doesn't like the angle that he has on the 10, and he may not shoot the 10 for that very reason. He may want to shoot maybe the 3 or the 8, but he's going back to the 10 again. He's going to draw it now just in hopes to just brush the 14 lightly.
And he's knocked the 1 out, but the one's fairly low, so I don't believe he's going to use a 1 ball for breaker. You might have an option where you use 8, 14. 14 is kind of high.
Well, once again, I'm definitely confused on exactly what to do.
I would guess right now that he's going to do that. He's going to go 8, 14, but you'll only need 3 balls. So
see, patterns like this definitely baffle me. I have no idea what to do with them, and I guess that's another reason why I'm not in a straight pull tournament, or I don't get in straight pull tournaments, because whenever I'm confronted with a situation similar to this one, I'm totally lost.
Well, he's just, he's doing this a little unorthodox. Maybe he shoots the 3 and stays in the rack right here. And that solves the problem for us, because then he has the cue ball behind the line, and he'll shoot the 8 ball in there.
Well, why didn't I think of that?
I don't know. I predict he stops in the rack, which is what he does. I like this shot. I like to often stay in the rack, and that gives you a good option of putting the cue ball behind the line wherever you want it, and you could set the angle the way you want.
Little shots like that open up just a lot of different avenues, and hopefully I'll program myself to remember that.
I try to tell the kids in my own billiard room, that you can't always have a break shot down ideally where you want it. So you got to learn how to shoot these seemingly unorthodox shots. Well, Mike's at 147 to Grady's 119, and
let me ask you this now: is this a mistake or not? He does need only 3 balls to win the match, but why should that have anything to do with the speed that he's going to hit that break shot with?
I personally would like on that one, especially when you're that close, you feel the adrenaline. You always want to, turn the cue ball loose a little bit, because if you hit it good, you're not going to turn it loose out of control. You're going to catch the rack in the right spot. But Mike's shooting it brilliant. We watched the other night. Mike made that fatal mistake.
I guess subconsciously you say to yourself, I only need 3 balls, I won't break them as hard.
Yeah, that's
mistake, I think.
Sometimes you find guys playing that sequence better, needing let's say 18 rather than 3, because they're looking to go into the next rack and they'll hit the shot. But nevertheless, Mike negotiated real well, and he's won the match 150 to 119. It's a very tough loss for Grady, Billy.
Very tough loss for Grady. Great win for Zuglan. He definitely assured himself the top spot in the tournament with that victory. And really, I have to really congratulate Mike Zuglan for really a fine performance against a Grady Matthews that was playing extremely well.
He's defended his title seemingly very well. It is, as I say, it's over. I don't believe anyone has a chance here to even tie him. But Grady did what he had to do. He came out, asserted himself, opened up to the seemingly commanding lead, and just when you play a Mike Zuglan, the commanding lead means you won. There's nothing safe until you win the game with him.
Hopefully we'll be able to get an interview. As a matter of fact, I think that's something that we should encourage, an interview here, because I like to ask Zuglan a few questions and congratulate him on just a wonderfully played match.
Yeah, so Mike, he's tuning up real well for next couple weeks up in New York. We're looking at the first mat table out here. The match still going on. It's 2 local players. It's J.R. Gay is 135, Rich Leski 71 and still shooting. Tonight we have Mike Zuglan will play Steve Mizrak, I believe, in a 9-ball match.
Yes, exactly. Mizrak Zuglan in the 9-ball match. It might not carry the same
exact importance. Well, again, Mike Zuglan seems to be a regular visitor of ours this week.
Well, congratulations, Mike, on an extremely well-played match. I mean, this is a classic match. Grady Matthews, really came on strong at the beginning of the match, putting together 2 nice runs on you, had you down significantly 115 or 120 to 15 or something like that. I don't remember the exact score. But in the meantime, as soon as you got an opportunity at the table, you came back with a nice run of your own, over 100 balls, I believe. And then I think that you were kind of like distracted a little bit when you shot the 15 and missed it in the corner pocket. And I looked for you to run out the match on that particular inning you were on. But what happened there?
Well, I couldn't get my hand on the rail correctly for what I had to do to the cue ball. I had to actually draw the cue ball a little bit, and it was just sort of the right distance off the rail, just the right cut where you can't put your hand on the table and you can't put your hand on the rail, so you have to somehow, compensate for it. So I guess I just rushed it. I probably should have took a little more time.
So somehow you found yourself lying awkwardly on the rail, and you weren't able to. The rail was actually hampering your bridge hand, and that resulted in a miss.
Right.
Well, that's a good excuse as any.
Yeah.
That's my only excuse.
Well, we made one for you. We
I have
figured
no excuse for the 5 misses in the beginning.
That's well, we talked about it, Mike. Grady did what he had to do. He came out and he opened up a big lead on you, which was what he, I'm sure, intended to do, and you just were unfazed and put the big run together.
I couldn't focus in the beginning. I just couldn't.
Well, you really
focus.
didn't have many opportunities to focus. You did miss the 3 ball. Matter of fact, that's the only ball I recall you missing other than the 15 was the 3 ball, and that was just carelessness. But with this win, I think you more or less assured yourself of winning this round-robin event.
I haven't looked.
Well, you 11 and 1.
Sometimes you don't need to look to know.
Right.
Well, I want to
You
know
can
for
feel
sure.
it.
Yeah, and once again, Mike, you really played a great match. I believe that was one of the best matches of the tournament. You were against a significant deficit of 15 to 111 or 112, and you came back strong, winning the match.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Mike. Congratulations and good luck. Good luck, by the way, in the U.S. Open straight pool. I think you're playing superbly, and I think you have an excellent chance of winning that tournament. Well, Frank Zummo, I mean, what can I say? You've been outstanding doing what we're doing here, the commentary.
Well, you threw me into the fire real quick this week. I didn't know what to expect, and it's been fun. It's a different experience, something I never tried before.
Well, I'm certainly glad I had the opportunity to work with you. So therefore, in the future, if the situation ever develops again, I'll be more than happy.
I'd love it next time, because next time I'd know what to expect, and it would be my pleasure.
Okay, well, I think we're distracting the only other match that's being played right now, and so therefore let's close it up, okay?
Sure. And,
Okay, in behalf of Frank Zummo, this is Bill Incardona, thanking everyone watching AccuStats and supporting AccuStats. Give Pat Fleming a call, 1-800-828-0397.